to a very special interview show on the Prode. Today, it is my pleasure to have Bhaskar Koirala sir on our show. Bhaskar Koirala sir is a renowned columnist and the director of Nepal Institute of Strategic and International Studies. Thank you very much, sir, for joining, and thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. And welcome to the Prode.
Thank you, Mr. Ritwij. Thank you very much, and for that very warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be on your program.
Thank you, sir. So, my first question to would be like recently the government of Nepal released a political map in which they showed the areas of Lipu Lake, Limpwadhura, and Kalapani in their territory. But the Indian government claims that these areas are the part of India. What, according to you, is the truth, and what is your take on this matter?
My take on this matter, it's a very important issue, obviously. My take on this is that this is a disputed territory. It's a disputed territory. India and Nepal, we have a very good relationship. We are have a very old history. We need to resolve this dispute in an amicable fashion based on the facts. I think it's no need to go very far beyond that. We need to sit and we need to discuss the issue based on evidence and fact and come to a solution. And furthermore, I think that it doesn't help either side if we politicize the issue. A little bit of that will naturally happen, but we need to control the extent to which the issue becomes politicized. And that is the responsibility of the political leadership. It is also the responsibility of civil society and of the people at large. So it's a very big responsibility. It's a very important issue, and we need to resolve it in a fair and amicable way.
Okay, so many Indians believe that the Prime Minister of Nepal is playing the anti-India card because he wants to stay in power and that he wants to maintain the close relationship with China as well. So how would you respond to this?
I would say yes. That is a factor to a certain extent. There are domestic exigencies, and this issue it has become a part of the let's say the domestic politics of Nepal. But on the other hand, I would not think it is wise to drag China into this matter. We really need to be careful about doing that. This is a bilateral issue. We are good friends, and we need to resolve the issue.
Okay, so what are the political reasons behind the changing relationship of India and Nepal?
This is a very big question. It's a very big question. I would like to maybe zoom out from maybe the immediate issues that are there. You look at the fact that Nepal is or was the oldest nation state in South Asia. So became a nation state around 1760, right? So that is the oldest nation state in South Asia. India gained independence in 47. Before that, of course, it was under British occupation, British colonial rule. And before that, there were a number of various, kingdoms in India. So in effect, we the relationship between India and Nepal, it's basically, from the, let's say, 1950s, 1948
Yeah,
is when we established diplomatic relations until now. So
yeah.
that's about a 70-year period. In the history between states, that is not a very long period of time. And from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, let's say we tried to work out a relationship between our two countries, and a lot of progress was made. But after the let's say the end of the Cold War, you had this uh, very significant period of globalization. We are still in that, and the impact of globalization has been manifested, of course, in India, also in Nepal. You have that in terms of, just simply speaking, in terms of the movement of people, right? You have a large number of Nepalis moving around the world. If you look at the diaspora, Nepalese diaspora, it is very substantial. The same goes for India. Earlier, let's say from the this earlier period before. Let's say this, globalization really started to kick in. Uh, Maybe Nepal, also India, looked at each other, or arranged the world view in terms of SARC, in terms of South Asia. I think now this has changed a lot. India is no longer simply within a South Asian straitjacket, and Nepal is also not in a purely, geographically, yes, it is placed in South Asia, but if you look at the composition of people, the population around the world, it's the world view, the way you arrange your perception of the world. This has changed a lot in both countries. You look at the technological advancements, the technological change, especially in terms of the internet, right? And what that does to the relationship. The internet, now you have about a 35% internet penetration in India. That was like 2017 figures. It's approximately the same in Nepal. So what this does is the technological progress that we have seen beginning in the mid 1990s, and it continues to the day. And it's still evolving very, very rapidly. What this has done is that it has shrunk the space, shrunk the geography, but on the other hand, it really has expanded the possibilities that we see before us. So for India, it's the same. For Nepal, it's the same. So I think that is something that we really have to keep in mind in terms of, yes, Nepal and India share a special relationship based on this shared culture, civilization, religion, the societal implications of all that. It is still very special, but there are new patterns of conceptualizing the world on the part of India, on the part of Nepal, and you have the old and then the new sort of colliding at this point in time, and our bilateral relationship, as I said earlier, it's still it's still maturing. 60, 70 years is not a long time, and now we are faced with this situation where we have to reconcile the old with the new. I think basically that is the way in which you can maybe understand the changing relationship between India and Nepal.
Okay, sir. So I want to ask that how can India and Nepal come together once again, and how can we take our year-long friendship forward peacefully?
There are, I believe, a number of, that is again a very, very big question. Um, uh, and there are probably a number of, different aspects to that. The first one being, in my opinion, the centrality of infrastructure, right? The
Yeah.
connectivity between the two countries. So you have the railway, right? You have highways. You have a number of infrastructure initiatives that uh, uh, can be taken forward. There's so many possibilities there. So just the railway, we have not really exploited the railway connectivity between the two countries.
These two
That's
countries.
really that's really very very significant. So I think that the two states must focus more on this sort of connectivity. On the infrastructure side. On the other hand, we have now the digital economy, right? You have a digital economy. So how do you connect the digital economies of the two countries? That is something at the policy level we need to really look into that and explore that, because that's really very exciting. And I think that would be a way in which you can bind the two countries in a way that provides a really very strong foundation to the shared the cultural, religious, social relationship that we have. It would even, strengthen that to a very large extent. So you have the SMEs in India, which are now going to be really very important in India. But then you can consider how you can connect the SMEs of India and the SMEs of Nepal. Put this together in an organic whole, and conceptualize this in terms of the digital economy, global economy. On the other hand, I think one of the things that we have not done, our two countries, not really spent a lot of effort on doing, is systematically tying up the various states. In India, you have a number of states. So we need to focus on the relationship between Nepal and we also have provinces here. So the province-state relationship. We need to create a lot of connections there, linkages. I think that is going to be a really very important feature in terms of how we can come together once again and bury this really the acrimonious sort of environment that you are seeing right now. And the other point I would bring up is how is Nepal related to the Indian Ocean? Indian
Yeah.
Ocean now is the concept of the Indian Ocean as enunciated by Indian policymakers and by the Prime Minister Modi, his idea of Sagar and so on. So how can Nepal become part and parcel of the Indian Ocean? I would have one proposal here in terms of you have Mount Everest, highest point on Earth,
Yeah.
and you relate that to the Indian Ocean and everything in between. Um,
Yeah.
bring it together, and the Indian Ocean landscape is now not just India per se, and the Indian Ocean, but all of those states from the eastern seaboard of Africa, including those countries on the Middle East flank, and so on, Southeast Asia. So it's a very big geography. So we should really think about how Nepal can figure in to this discussion about the Indian Ocean.
Okay. So, what is the importance of Nepal in the current political scenario?
You are referring to maybe the
In global sense, yeah.
global sense. It occupies the exceptionally important space in global politics. If you look at a map of Asia, and from Mongolia in the north, you draw a line straight down through China, Tibet Autonomous Region, through Nepal, all the way down to the southern tip of India and Sri Lanka. You find that Nepal is really in the middle of
Yeah.
this very important region with Southeast Asia, East Asia on the one hand, India on the south, China and let's say Central Asia on the north, and then you have what you call the Middle East on another end. So Nepal is very much in the center of things, and the way in which the big powers have conceptualized the world now. Take for instance the United States idea of the Indo-Pacific. So the United States has said that the Indo-Pacific stretches essentially from the coast of California all the way through, come through Southeast Asia, Indian Ocean, all the way to the the eastern coast of Africa. That is how the United States is looking at the world right now. China has its own view of the world, and it is enunciated in their Belt and Road. I mean, that is really Belt and Road, and then you have the Maritime Silk Road. So it's a very broad-based view of the world. And as I said, with India, it's the same with the Indian Ocean. So Nepal finds itself really very much within, centrally located within all of these different, conceptualizations of the world. So I think that the importance of Nepal is quite obvious. It's quite obvious, and but for Nepal to play a positive role in this, it must be able to insist on a peaceful world, peaceful regional order, peaceful and stable, regional developments, so that you can really focus on economic growth and focus on sustainable development.
So how much is Nepal important in geographical point of, how much is Nepal important in case of geographical point of view, like for both China and for India?
It is. I mean, but it is quite fundamental. It is fundamental because Nepal is abutting the Tibet autonomous region, shares a 1,400 kilometer border with this very sensitive area of China. Also, I would say quite a dynamic area. Also, when we talk about Tibet, normally we talk about the this sort of sensitivities, but it also transcends that because it's economically also very dynamic. It's the same with India. We have a 1,800 kilometer open border with India on bordering India's most populous states. So we are again, we are right in the middle of this. So how can we facilitate a sustainable, a peaceful regional environment, so that the people on both sides and in Nepal itself can benefit from this extraordinarily, pivotal moment in history. So rather than get enmeshed in all kinds of a conflict, how can we bring a peace and stability here? That is where Nepal is really very important.
Okay, sir. So do you believe that China has some sort of influence on the government of Nepal?
This is a very important question, but it does not just apply. Your question does not apply just to Nepal.
Also applies.
Now, Chinese diplomacy, Chinese foreign policy, the impact of Chinese power is felt all around the world.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But the problem is that we are a small state located in this very special place. Um, uh, the problem, I think, in the question that you are asking, it really relates to the fact that Nepal is still undergoing a transition from the monarchy to this republican order. It has not even not even been 2 decades yet. It's still in a period of transition, and we have intra-party kind of conflicts, right? And the state building, it's still ongoing. I think that your question really relates to the fact that Nepal is still has not gained its bearings. It's not been able to assert itself as a strong state. Small country.
Okay, so what I'm trying to ask is that many Indians believe, like even the Indian government believes that there is some sort of involvement of Chinese officials in the government functioning of Nepal. They are
Yes.
very much they are very much involved in how government is functioning in Nepal and things like that.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. But what I'm trying to say is that Nepal is, I would characterize the state. It's a weak state. It's a weak state. So when a state is weak, it is vulnerable to all kinds of influences from not just from China, but from many different directions. And I would not lay the blame on anyone, on any other
Yeah,
country. I would really focus on our, the domestic conditions and how
yeah,
we can improve the conditions in Nepal itself, so that we minimize the sort of external influences, because
yeah,
China is a it's a rapidly its power is expanding all around the world, and we are also impacted by that. So we need to be able to minimize that, obviously, because if we don't do that, then that is going to create a lot of instability down the line. And there will be tensions with India, with the United States, and so on. So we need to be very mindful of this. So your question is it's very relevant, but I would not focus so much on China. I would focus more on the process of state building, the evolution of state building in Nepal, and how we can ensure that there is no undue sort of foreign influence in Nepal, which would obviously then negatively impact our relationship with other bilateral partners.
like I would like to conclude by asking that how much is Nepal important? And sorry, so we have seen a lot of like political instability in Nepal from last few years. We have seen a lot of political instability. So tell me, how can Nepal emerge as a global leader, and how much time will it take?
Your the second part of your question, how long it will take, it all depends on the political leadership in Nepal. Uh, uh, the leadership needs to look at the larger picture, like as we discussed earlier, where Nepal is located geographically, the importance of that in geopolitics, in geoeconomics. It needs to really focus on that and focus on the fact that state building, and to become a credible diplomatic partner, that is part and parcel of Nepal being able to take advantage of its very special location. In terms of how how Nepal can achieve this in terms of being significant part of global politics. I think that as I mentioned earlier, it's important to expand the relationship with India, in a systematic way, and to minimize the sort of negative repercussions that emerge from time to time. Engage with India with infrastructure and various other tools, and focus on how Nepal can also be a part of the Indian Ocean. On the other hand,
Yeah,
right now, the United States has advanced this idea of the Indo-Pacific, and I think it's important for Nepal to be a part of that as well, not in a way to as a way to, let's say, some scholars say, as a way to contain China, not in this way, but
not in
to,
that sense.
yes, to work together within that strategy to produce, to propel the economic development of the country, and so on. And on the other hand, you have the BRI. BRI is very interesting, and I think the BRI becomes especially important in terms of how we can bring a collaboration between China, Nepal, and India. But having said that, I think that based on my previous work of trying to forge a trilateral, relationship, trilateral forum between the three countries, I'm not sure that the BRI is the right, let's say, the right tool in order to advance that. I think that if Nepal is going to serve as a sort of a, let's say, part of a corridor linking the three countries. I think that based on the maybe reservations also that India has with BRI, to get India on board this sort of a
Yeah.
project, I think we'll have to recast this sort of a trilateral mechanism. Maybe keep it outside of the purview of the BRI.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for taking out the time, and thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.